All right, let's see where we're at so far with this. Cool. I'm gonna take advantage of my infinity racks and I'm gonna find a kick snare and hi-hat that's more what I'm feeling right now. Let's start with the kick. I like that number 6. All right, let's find a snare. Cool, I like that phasey hi-hat. All right, now this hi-hat right here, I like these accents. I'm gonna turn this into like more of a steady hi-hat pattern. So I'm gonna have a super quiet one going in the background for all of the empty hi-hat spots. Tighten these up a little bit. Cool. Now there's a few tricks with these hi-hats lately. I've noticed a lot of production, especially in hip hop, they're swinging the hi-hats a little bit by just delaying them a tiny bit. I'm highlighting all these hi-hats by clicking this key. Now I'm holding command and I'm tapping to the right a tiny bit. Just so it's a little bit late. It just gives it a little bit more push. Sounds just a little bit less standard. Sometimes you'll do this with the snare also, so the only thing that's really locked to the grid is the kick drum. Cool. All right, now a couple other things. I'm gonna add another MIDI channel and I'm gonna find another hi-hat. And for this hi-hat, I'm just gonna do stutters and accents. Yeah, that's cool. Well, sure. This time I'm just gonna double click here to make this MIDI clip, make the MIDI clip 4 bars. And I'm just gonna listen, and anywhere that I hear it, I'm gonna just add a little bit of a stutter. Also switching between straight grids and then doing the triplet grid. So holding command and hitting 3, we get this triplet grid. Again, I'm gonna duplicate and I'm gonna make a change for this second revolution. All right. Now I'm gonna turn off the grid and I'm gonna get my pencil tool. So I'm gonna hold command and hit B. And now for this turnaround before, at the end of the 8th bar, I'm just gonna click and drag up so that I get this little fade in. And do I wanna fade in anywhere else? I'll probably do this one too for these triplets and change these so they're quieter. Basically just going in and just changing the velocity of some of these stutters to just make it more dynamic. cool. Now this hi-hat that I just put in with the stutter, I'm going to add an auto pan to this so that it's like swimming through the stereo spectrum. I got a couple different ways of adding some width to whatever it is that I'm working on. One of them is to put this auto pan so that it's a consistent moving from left to right. The other one, which I'll use for some other drums, is to use this random pan function, which is inside the simpler, which is really great. But for this one, I just want it to kind of be going left to right steadily. Add some delay too. So I got some delay on my C return. Can also use this low pass filter inside echo to just kind of tune it, make the delay more subtle. Cool. So a couple of the hotkeys that I was using, Command U again to quantize, and I've got my quantize set to 50% so that it's not a full quantize. And then also holding Command while MIDI notes are selected and tapping to the right or to the left to just move it a tiny bit later or a tiny bit earlier to shift it off the grid and give it a little bit more of a swing. In the next lesson, we're going to talk open hi-hats, hand percussion, and even more texture and detailing the drums.